Less than 30 seconds now in regulation. Could this take extra time? 16 seconds. Here's Dial. Send it up at the point, J. Lalu. Call midget now, but Matt, 6 seconds, 5, Dalfan coming out. He gets around in 2 seconds. He's got to do it quick. Shoot, the scores, 1 second left.
Man, I really love doing this. Thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah,
Look forward to
that's what it's
this
all about.
every week. I want to do it more frequently. I really do. Like, if it were up to me, I would do one of these every day. But if I do that, then everybody's gonna start expecting me to do one every day, right? And then if I start slowing down and can't keep up the pace, then I'm disappointing not only myself but everybody that is trying to listen to these, right? And not to mention, I'm gonna blow through everybody who wants to do this in like a month. Where's the fun
Yeah.
in that?
Yeah, there's no more exciting people.
Exactly. And at some point, I'll be doing round 2 for a lot of you guys, but I'd like to get through just about everybody that is, well, willing and that I want to include on here through at least
Wow.
once before I start doing round 2 of people. But speaking of people, right? HQM members, one of my favorites of all time, kBomb, what's going on?
Well, it's just really good to be here. I was gonna say it kind of sucks that you ran out of interesting people and had to resort to me. But here we
Yeah,
are.
we all have to make sacrifices sometimes. It's unfortunate, but I just want you to know there are a docket of other non-interesting people that I could have chosen over you, and I didn't. So you should feel happy in a weird sort of way.
Can you hear me smiling?
Kind of, not enough. I told you I could give you a reason to start drinking, so this can be the start if we need it. Tell me you've
We
already
can,
at least you're one in, right?
yeah, at least a half in.
Okay, all right. As long as you're working on one,
It
because
yeah, it doesn't count if I don't have one in my hand.
we're gonna need this. I mean, I'm gonna need this for you, and you're gonna need this for you, right? I think we both come to that conclusion.
Yeah, man, bring it on.
Well, we'll get into it then. I hope you're ready. All right, so before we get to the questions, per usual, I'm gonna go over just a long list, the longest list so far out of anybody that I've interviewed, longest list of achievements and whatnot. I'm gonna go through all those, talk briefly about you as a player in your career for those of you who haven't been around as long as the two of us have, and then
Forever.
hopefully, yeah, right. Hopefully, allow them to get to know you a little better before we get into some of the juicy meat, the meat of it, right? Get into those juicy
Yep, I'm here for
questions,
the meat.
find
Yep.
out all the deep, dark kBomb secrets.
Oh boy.
I hope you're ready to divulge. All right, so kBomb played in all 14 LHL seasons, soon to be 15, right? Say yes.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, good,
Yep. Oh,
good,
without a doubt. Yeah.
good. So you're one of only 3 players to actually do that, and that list includes me and Taze. So
Oh
the 3
wow.
of us are the only ones. There are other people that have been playing since season 1, like Otto, Goose, Crab, Quoof, and some others I'm probably missing as well. Lucic, Bo. So there's a list of players there that have been around for a long time, but none of them, besides the 3 of us, have actually played for every single season. So pat yourself on the back there. Whether or not that's depressing, I'm not sure.
Enough.
But
Yeah.
it's an elite club, right? We're cool. We're cool.
Yeah. You guys are cool.
Well, I would say you're cooler than both of us, but I mean, it's all subjective, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You're also one of 3 players to ever be taken in the first round as a goalie. Pretty
Oh,
neat. I'm
yeah,
sure
that
you
went
have
well
fond
twice.
memories.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, only goalie to ever be taken in the first round as a G twice. So only goalie to ever be drafted in that round twice. to-play goalie. PK was drafted in the first round once, but he was drafted as a defenseman, not a goaltender, and he switched to G during that season. So technically, you're the only one to be drafted as a goalie twice in the first round. You're also the highest drafted goalie ever at 4th overall in the Season 5 draft.
Yeah, that was the time on. Wow.
Yeah, it did go well. We won that time, right?
Yep.
It was a little sloppy, but we made it.
I
But
mean, you wouldn't have picked me if you didn't want it sloppy.
That's what I love you for. Getting it
Sound
sloppy.
bites.
You
Yep.
don't like it clean. So you played mostly defense, a little bit of offense, seasons 1 through 3, and then it was actually during season 3 that you started playing goalie for the Minnesota North Stars when I think Mulrat wasn't there, right? We'll get into
Yep.
that a little bit more. But you've been playing there ever since 11 or so, 10, 11 seasons of it now. So
Yeah.
you're pretty at home. You actually wrote an article about it, right? About switching from defense to goalie. I don't know
Yeah.
if we still have that because that was on the website, right?
Yeah, I've still got it. I mean, I suggest every defenseman switches to goalie.
You should actually link that when I make the Reddit thread for
Because
this.
then I don't have to play anymore. Yeah.
You should definitely link that because that is a great read, and I'm sure a lot of people here have not read it yet.
Yeah.
Anyway,
without a
so
doubt.
getting back into your career as a player, you had 34 points in 38 games played. Again, mostly as a defenseman, couple games in there as forward, as we'll see later. Exciting. kBomb, 4v4 forward, 4v4
boy.
right wing, to be particular. 12 goals, 22 assists. We won't get into your plus minus because that might be a little too depressing. Yeah. Over your career in 5v5 as a goalie, you have a 60.85 save percentage, 3.32 goals against average, and you did that in 161 games played. Can you believe that? That's just
Yeah.
5v5, 161 games.
Just a couple.
Just a few, a handful, right?
Yep.
You're the first and only player still to hit 1,000 career saves in 4v4 and 5v5 combined. You're up to, I think it's 1,065 combined
Okay.
both.
All right.
So exciting. You hit that season 13, I think it was.
Got you.
Made that. So you've made the playoffs 6 times out of the 14 seasons, and you've appeared in the finals 5 times. So seems to me you're either on a really bad team or you're on a great team.
Yeah.
There's really no in between there, right?
Or I'm only good in the first round in playoffs.
And then you get to the second round, you're not good anymore.
Not at all.
I mean, you have one playoff MVP, so.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We will. That'll be a fun one. So you've also GM'd more recently, right? I think the first time was season 11, Vancouver, and then season 12 with St. Louis, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was 2 consecutive.
Which made up a total of 45 games. You were 19, 2, 4, and 20 in that time. You're 2nd seed with Vancouver and 5th seed with St. Louis. And you had a 46.67% win rate. You GM'd for 9 postseason games with Vancouver, making it to the finals, where you had a record of 4-1, 2-2, so 55.56% win rate. So even better in the playoffs than you were in the regular season. And you obviously made the postseason and finals 1 time each as GM, both with that same Vancouver team. So getting into the career achievements, you ready for this one? This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. So you're a 7-time LHL All-Star. 7. You need 2 hands for that. 2 hands. 7-time LHL All-Star. 3-time Big V Memorial Trophy winner, which is best goalie. 2-time LHL Legends Cup winner. 2-time Kulixer Cup winner, 1-time First Star Trophy winner, 1-time Ticklebox Trophy winner, 1-time Briz Memorial Trophy winner, 1-time Boyardzine Award winner. Shout out to Bo for not being there in the finals when his team needed him for games 3 and 4. Wasn't there. That's why we named the trophy after him. Best attendance, because he's never there when his team needs him. Moving on to records, you have the highest 5v5 career saves, the 3rd highest 5v5 career saves per game, the highest 5v5 career goals against, the highest 5v5 career wins, the highest 5v5 career shutouts, the highest 5v5 career games played at goalie, the 3rd highest 5v5 career playoff saves, 2nd highest 5v5 career playoff goals against, third highest 5v5 career playoff wins, third highest 5v5 career playoff shutouts, third highest 5v5 career playoff games played at goalie, second highest 4v4 single season winning percentage, highest 4v4 career wins, and third highest 4v4 career shutouts.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a list. You got all the volumes.
I'm
You're
like
like
a
the Peyton
bad-
Manning. You're Peyton Manning. That's what you are. You got all the
Yeah.
volume stats, but only 2 rings.
Whew. Wow.
You're exactly like
Well, at least
Peyton
my
Manning.
brother's not better than me. I mean,
I don't know. Has your brother started playing yet?
no.
Well, you beat him to 2 rings, I guess, so you can't
There we
be
go. Yeah.
too much like Eli anyway. I certainly hope that your brother doesn't come Eli it up, because that means he's going to beat me, and I don't like that.
You're the Tom Brady of the LHL.
Well, I'm just saying as a Patriots fan.
Oh,
right?
okay. All right.
If your brother is Eli Manning, then I'm
Yeah,
by
upset.
default inclined to hate him
That's
and
fair.
everything that he stands for.
I don't blame you.
I don't blame you either, to be honest with you. All right, so while this is going, I'm going to flip it over to YouTube. We're going to take a look at some games, and kBomb, I apologize, you won't be able to see this while we're going. I'll send them to you afterwards. But we're going to play some games from kBomb's career. So this first one is Season 2, when he was on
Wow.
Detroit. Yeah, long time ago, man. 12 seasons ago, anyway, from Season 2, back when the LHL was still 4v4. And you're playing for Detroit, and I believe you are right wing for most of this game. And we get to see you score a goal. Exciting.
That's
I
rare.
can't
Yeah.
wait. I can't wait. So we're going to take a look at that, and then we're going to take a look at a second game from Season 6, which was arguably your best season. One of the best teams to ever play in the LHL, the Season 6 San Jose Sharks. Very, very dominant team, and you were a very dominant goalie on that team. I believe you won best goalie that season.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, you guys went like 8-1 or something in the playoffs to win. So very, very dominant team, very dominant all regular season long. So definitely something that it'll be fun to relive. So with that, while that's playing for everyone at home watching, we'll start to get into the questions. So I'm going to start out really simple for you. Okay, you ready for this? It's going to be a tough
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
What got you into the sport of hockey?
Okay. As some of you may know, I am a Flyers fan. I live in the Philadelphia area, and I actually went to games with my mom, not my dad. And I would take my 35mm camera and I'd press it up against the glass and I'd take pictures of the game and not know what happened until I got that film developed. That's right. I'm old.
Back in those days,
Yeah.
you had to just hope it was a good picture.
Exactly. And I mean, what really cemented my love for hockey was I stayed up for the Keith Primo 5 overtime winner, which was, just something else. And
What year was that?
It was 2000.
Just wanted to make you say it. Yep.
Were some of you born in 2000?
Some of the
Maybe.
people here weren't.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
yet born. Fantastic. Yeah. I believe I've played in a 4 or 5 overtime pub. I put a post about it. That was really fun. We had like some absurd amount of saves and just deadlocked. I think a bunch of people joined.
There was a 5OT LHL game, and I believe it was actually Season 2. It was Washington, Colorado, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty sure. I thought for a second you might have played in it, but I know for a fact Washington did, and I know Claude was on the other team.
I thought it was the Devils that played in a long OT game, but I might be wrong.
Might have been the Devils. Claude was in net. That's all I know. So whatever team Claude was on, and it was either Season 2 or Season 3.
Yeah, Flyers fans, man.
But yeah, anyway, we'll get back to it. So that's how you got into the sport of hockey. That's 17 years ago, huh?
Yeah. I mean that was what hooked me. I mean, I watched games when I was younger, but that was when I knew.
When you knew you loved it.
Absolutely. When
did you know you loved Andrew McDonald and his contract?
When they traded for him. If we could give 6x6 to everybody, that's just really what it's all about.
Build a team of 6x6 guys.
Yeah, and then what, like 12 of them?
Yeah, you get 12 of them under the cap. You don't need
Yeah.
more than that, right? Just get 2 forward lines, 2 D pairings, and a goalie.
Yeah, that's like an
That's fine.
LHL team. Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody's got
works
the
for
AMAC
us, right?
contract.
So,
Yeah. Yep.
so we talked about hockey then. How about from the video game side? How long have you been gaming for, and what was your first video game you ever played?
Ooh. Probably Super Mario Brothers 3 for the NES. But I got a PlayStation for my 6th birthday. Again, dating myself. I played the demo disc for probably a couple months before I got my first real game. One fun thing is that I've always kind of been guided into the love of weird or different games because my parents didn't know what games to get me. So like, for example, fighting games, like everybody knows Street Fighter, Tekken, even the Dead or Alive guys. I got Battle Arena Toshinden. Shout out to anybody who's heard of that
What
game.
the hell is that?
It was some really weird, like Japanese, I think, fighting game for the PlayStation. And then, while you might know Super Mario 64 for like a open world 3D game, I got Bubsy 3D, which is like, which is actually known as one of the worst games of all time. It completely flopped, and I actually think it came out after Super Mario 64. So like
Yeah,
this game is right in line. Like it's perfect for me.
I gotta be honest, I
Nice
have
and
no idea
weird.
what any of the things you just said were.
You're welcome.
Never heard of them.
Yep.
Well, there we
But
go.
yeah,
So now,
gamer all my life. Yep.
yeah, I'll be amazed if anybody knows what those are. Hopefully, somebody will respond in the comments of this Reddit thread when it eventually gets up to talk about it a little bit. Who do you think, out of anybody in the community, would know that game? I'm thinking GK. GK might
Maybe.
know.
I don't know. I was actually thinking Winters. Like might know some oddballs.
I have to tell
I,
him to watch. I don't know how much he checks the subreddit. I don't know if he even watches these. So unfortunate, but
yeah, I really enjoyed
well,
his. Yeah.
yeah, his was great. His was a lot of fun. So, and I think he gave you a shout out there
Uh,
in his. I can't remember. He was talking about the goalies and how he appreciated goalies a lot, and I thought he shouted you out there, but
he might
been
have. We've
been
had
a
a
couple
special
weeks now.
relationship. Yeah.
Winters is a great guy, and so are you. Importantly,
Yeah,
so
I
are you.
mean he didn't say my name for like 2 seasons because I told him that he jinxed me, because he did, but it didn't work that well, so he went back to saying it. Yep.
Well, there's definitely an appreciation there, whether or not he jinxes you intentionally.
Yep.
I know the caster curse, right? Especially
It
shutouts,
happens.
and yeah, happens a lot. So, all right. So, what is your favorite genre of games, and what is your favorite game of all time?
Um, Probably action RPGs like Diablo, Path of Exile, those type things. Kind of hack and slash type games where you're doing stuff up and just grinding really.
So
And
those
my
sort
favorite
of
game of all time, gotta be Super Mario World. One of the first games that I played, and just something else really blew my mind.
how old were you when you played that?
6 or 7, I think.
Yeah. 'Cause I
Back in
remember
the
having
90s.
that. I remember having that game for
Oh, it was
our
a
NES.
classic.
I think that was a great
Yeah.
one. I used to make my mom play that one with me. It was a
All
lot
right.
of fun though. Good times. Very good
Oh,
times.
without a doubt.
Solid choices there for games, but I have to notice you didn't list HQM as your favorite game of all time, and
Definitely top like 20 or something. Yeah.
roughly somewhere
It's
in there.
probably the game I've played the longest, though, truth be told.
I mean, that's something, right?
Yeah.
Got to count for something.
Yeah.
Speaking of HQM, how did you first discover it?
I joined, I believe when you did the Dalfan post in our hockey. Where what was it? It was advertising just a first person alternative to the NHL games, I think. And it'll be 4 years next month. Of that post.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. Well, the draft actually might be. I think it was July 7th or July. It was July 8th. It was July 8th,
Okay.
which will
Yeah.
be, I believe right around the time we have the season 15 draft. So
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, Dolphin had a like training camp or something
yep,
for trying
the
to draft people, figure out their prospects.
yep.
Um, I don't think I put the puck in the net and at all, like even skate straight forward and shoot at the net, I missed, and he drafted me. So, here we are.
I remember trying so hard at that. I don't remember you being there actually, but I remember going to that and trying so hard. And I remember he told us to do a wraparound and I hit it. And I was so happy. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, I did it.
Yeah, I think I
But
flung it into like center ice from behind the net.
oh, I mean, you were impressive enough to be drafted by him. It was a team that made the finals, lost in
Yeah.
6, I think, right? I think it was 6.
What was the question?
Dallas in the finals. I was trying to remember.
Yeah,
I think you guys lost the series in 6.
I think so, yeah. Unfortunately.
Well, they weren't starting you at the time,
No, they weren't. I
so
got to
that's
play
that's why they lost.
yeah, I think I played a period of the first playoff series, which was fun.
You guys played New Jersey, right? Nando in New Jersey.
Yep.
Now that's a name I have not heard in a long time. Nando.
Yeah, Nando from Orlando.
You remember the spider incident?
The what?
Okay, so you don't remember that. It was during that playoff series against you guys. There was like a spider that fell on Nando or
Oh,
whatever,
yep.
and he like kicked the power cord out of his computer and wound up like leaving the game, obviously, because his computer turned off like mid game.
Nah, I think I saw
And
that one after the fact, yeah.
yeah, that was forever known as the spider incident for those
Classic.
that were there. I know Jarvin, one of Jarvin's favorite memories. He was also on that New Jersey team.
Yep.
So you've mentioned liking weird games. You've mentioned that HQM is roughly in your top 20 or so favorite games.
Yep.
But you mentioned that this is a game you've played the longest. Why is that? What is it about this game that's sort of captured your attention for this long?
I mean, I'm intrigued by it. Like it really evolved from like I was one of the 4v4 puck chasers, and now we've got this refined LHL, and I mean even the RSL is a lot better than the LHL was, on their worst days. And what was it? Probably about 2 or 3 years ago, 3 years ago now. We had HockeyCon. I met the guys. I went on TeamSpeak. Just I love the community. So, I think I'm gonna stick with it. It's you know, I'm stuck with you guys, or you're stuck with me.
I like to think of it as you're stuck with us. Really, what a nip by pizza. You guys just tied the game here, so I'm just getting excited remembering season 2. But
Yeah.
anyway, sorry to cut you off there. But
No,
yeah,
that's
I
fine.
like to think that we're keeping you here against your will because you're too good of a dude. We don't want to lose you
Nah,
because
not at all.
we get too many. I'm not gonna say shitty people, but we get too many not great people. How's that? That's the way I'm gonna word
Yeah.
that.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know. I'll disagree to agree to disagree or something.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying if we could clone you and have like 6 of you, I would
Okay.
be way happier with my life in general.
Just don't put all 6 of us on the same team.
That would be
We
interesting,
couldn't.
though. A
Yeah.
team of 6 kBombs, see how they do. I mean, you've technically played all 3 positions at an LHL level, so
Yeah. We're gonna hear why I haven't stuck with the other two.
well, let's go to it right now. You started out as mostly defense, right? Which, interestingly enough, I think you're the 3rd person now I've interviewed, like in a row, minus Winters, that started as defense and switched to goalie. For whatever reason, I'm just going through the
Yeah.
E/G members of the community right now. But anyway, you're much like Dolphin, much like GK, and a handful of others too, in a similar position as you. You guys all start out at D and then switch to G. Why is that? I mean, what was it for you personally that made you switch?
I was bad. I was really bad. Not a good skater, especially not as the league was getting better. But from a from a positive perspective, you play defense for the same reasons you play goalie. You want to stop people from scoring. Goalie is just a more direct way to do it. But yeah, you're accomplishing the same thing. You're just stopping people from accomplishing their goal in the game.
Much harder to
And it's
score though.
a little bit. I do have one goal. I also have one goalie goal against. So 1-1.
That was PK, right?
It was PK, and it was a ripper. Rolled over my stick.
What? See, that was recent, right?
Yeah, I think it was last season.
I was gonna say I seem to remember that happening because I remember PK getting all excited about it. So,
I
but
mean,
you've
he
got a
deserves
goalie
it.
goal for yourself, right? So I mean,
Yeah, it was scored on Jarvan. He was doing circles or something and wasn't paying attention, and it went.
well, it's all even, right? One goalie goal against, one goalie goal for.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to root for the other guy if he gets it in.
Yeah, makes sense. There's that goalie brotherhood, right? GK
Exactly.
spoke a bit about that. That mutual respect
Yeah,
that
but yeah,
most goalies
amongst
have.
weirdos, yeah.
Yep.
Goalies are weird, man.
Yeah, yeah, they tend to be. Timu's a goalie, and that's about all you need to know. I mean, a goalie in real life, not
Yeah.
in the game, but yeah, that's about all you need to know to tell you how goalies are. All right, so what would you say is your favorite moment of your career?
Um, probably just playing pubs. There was one I was playing against Dopey, and it's the reason why Dopey thought that I was good at this game. He was scooping the puck back from his zone and shot it real high. I blocked it out of the air, and then I think I might have even knocked it out of the air right into the net. I've never been able to replicate that. But it's probably the most impressive play I've made at all in this game. And it was just, I mean, just those little tiny moments in pubs are just, you live for them.
Very satisfying.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised you didn't pick a save. I would have felt like, because saving somebody, especially stuffing somebody like on a breakaway and whatnot, there are a few things that are more satisfying than that, than just shutting the door on somebody who, like, just in
You
their
know,
head, they knew they were going to score. I'm a little surprised you didn't pick a save.
I don't want to disappoint anybody. Like, I get pumped up, like, yelling TS, and then just, like, try and go Van Damme and focus. Just, like, completely wipe my face and just, like, stare at my screen even more intently now.
I do something pretty similar, so
Yeah.
I understand how it is. All right,
Yeah, I
flip
live for
side of
the
the
short
coin.
moments.
Flip side of the coin. Biggest regret you have about your career?
Biggest regret. I wish I invested more into the game. Um, like more of my time. I wish I was a better skater. Because I've kind of uh pigeonholed myself into playing goalie. Like I can't play, I can't skate competitively. Um, but on uh investing, like, you know, I'm not at all regretting that I, gave money to Coolixer and I helped Winters get his computer back up and running. You guys gotta, take care of the guys that run things, that sort of thing. So it's not a monetary thing at all. It's just, I wish I put more of me into the game.
Makes sense. Is that something you're looking to change in the future then?
I hope so. I mean, it's an ongoing thing. You can't just say it and then it happens.
So
Just,
along the same lines, then, what's the biggest regret you have about your career? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the same thing again. Is there anything else you wish you had accomplished?
not really. I mean, if anything, I'd like to win another cup. And I don't mean that from a selfish standpoint. I mean, people really like to put asterisks after the teams that I played for. Because there were like rule changes made after the fact. You're not allowed to trade your entire team for draft picks. You're not allowed to pretend, or sorry, say that you're not going to play and play, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So as ill-gotten as they were, I want one without an asterisk.
So you definitely do you agree then with the notion that the season 6 championship was in a way tainted?
Um, no, I mean, we still won it. I I want people to, recognize another team as, I don't know. I mean, I want there to not be an argument.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Feel that. You want to make sure there's no way for anybody to even suggest
Yeah.
that there was some external factor that allowed you guys to have an
Exactly.
easier time or whatever the deal is, right?
Or I want there to be something possible to make another rule change. I want a third asterisk.
A new one, a different one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Something that I did.
All right, well, we're going to start getting into the juicier questions now. So I hope you're ready for this. Things are going to get pretty personal here.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with season 11 playoffs. Vancouver, you won playoff MVP that season in a losing effort, and that's something that a lot of people were pretty upset by, specifically the members on California, the team that beat you.
Yeah.
Do you believe that you deserve to win that award?
Yeah, but I wasn't the only one that did. Other people voted for me. It was probably, or at least arguably, my best postseason. As well elevated above my regular season numbers. Um, California played. They played against Ace, who was one of the most dominant goalies, I'll say, ever. That season had one of the
High
best
praise.
seasons as a goalie. Yes. And he got 0.6 goals per game scored against, 18 and 5. Our team, myself, I guess, we held them to 14 goals in 5 in a losing effort. And yeah, I mean, we and I, put up a hell of a fight. And wasn't there some oddity that the California players split the vote or something?
Yeah. Well, that was the big thing with that California team is they were just really strong across the board. So it was Dalf, BG, Gabe, Crab, and then Narg and
Yeah.
Ace splitting time in net.
Hmm.
And all 6 of them were really good and played, or played a vital role in the success of the team. So it really wasn't a situation where one of them carried more than the other necessarily, or at least not statistically anyway, right?
Yeah.
And so what wound up happening is I think a lot of the votes split between mostly Crab, Gabe, and Dalfan got the votes. I think each one of them got at least one vote. But that was the thing that really sort of hurt them was that, you know, the split there, whereas a lot of people recognized the effort that you put forth, and I think Otto got a vote or two in there too. Otto was really good for you guys
Yeah,
that
he
playoff
was.
run. Um, but yeah, that was the big thing. They sort of split the votes, and that was an inherent disadvantage. But that's also sort of an argument that goes into MVP, and that's something I want to ask you: is what do you think MVP really means? Does most valuable inherently mean the best player? Can you have multiple
Uh,
MVP candidates on the same team? Like, what? How do you feel about this?
I take it more literally. Most valuable to their team. In the sense that they, provide, the biggest advantage over, an average player or anybody else.
Yeah,
So what are they doing that they wouldn't get from somebody else? So, in the same vein, I don't feel that the points leader should always be the regular season MVP. We even got rid of the best team play because it always went to the player that got the most assists. It's not a stats thing. It's not it's not who's best at the game. Um, it's who's needed the most and who shows up when they're needed.
That's a good way to word it. And I know
Yeah,
there's definitely people on both sides of that argument. There are a lot of people that generally believe it should go to the best player in the league. And so that's definitely something that, you can go back and forth about and make arguments for both sides. But I was curious to hear what your
sure.
opinion of it was as somebody who was a beneficiary of not necessarily being the best player in the postseason there, right?
Yeah,
But being one of the most impactful to their team.
yeah. I mean, that's completely fair.
So we'll jump ahead a season 12 St. Louis. Fun memories of that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
So you guys had some pretty good names in the roster, right? You started out with yourself, Icy on defense. I think Jabba was there too from the draft. I can't remember if he was there for or if you traded for him, but and then you also had Timu and Otto. So and we know how dominant Otto has been this season 14 on Calgary. He's always been a
yeah,
very good player. And Timu and Otto together found a lot of success on Boston in season 13 playing alongside Lucic. So there definitely was some ability for them to play together. But St. Louis struggled a lot. The team never really seemed to click, and then you wound up making some trades, sending people different directions, and I think it was Timu was the big one that got sent away from the team.
yeah.
Uh, why do you think that team was never able to sort of get it together and string together some consistent wins or consistent performances even?
Well, naturally, I blame myself. Start at the top. The season 11 team was just a whole bunch of good players, and we almost did it pub style in that everybody knows what to do. We show up, we play the game. You know, we talk about it a little bit afterward, and we're done. And ultimately, in this league, you can't really get away with that. You have to game plan. You have to you know lead your guys and get develop the strategy that works for your team.
Lead by
And
example, right?
yeah, well, no, I mean, even just what should we do on breakouts, and how do we attack this team best? Just the overarching strategy things. And another thing that I'll say I fell short on is that I couldn't really establish a good fourth skater, the fifth guy on the ice, if you will. And so we kind of bounced back and forth between a couple guys, and ultimately I think it led to a little bit of not necessarily mistrust, certainty. Um, am I going to play? Do I need to even bother showing up? Type things, and you never want to establish that in your players.
Yeah. But you never want to like plant that seed of doubt, right?
Oh, sure. Everybody is good enough to play for this team, type
So
thing.
so looking back, if you could do it all over again, we'll start from the draft. If you could do it all over again, draft differently or draft the same and make different decisions afterwards, would you change anything? And if so, what would it be?
Um, well, I mean, knowing what I now know about Claude Giroux's availability, um, I believe his computer circumstance.
Yep.
Even though I got him late, let's put the asterisk there. I had full intent to give him a computer, which any GM can do. You're allowed to help your guys get up and running. There's
Yep.
no
Nothing wrong with that.
there's no rule that you can't have a dog
Not
in the
yet.
LHL.
Not yet. No rule
Yeah,
yet. But like you said, that asterisk,
yeah. Well, I
as a
was looking
result
for
of
it.
you or a team you're on, it can be coming.
Yeah.
GMs are no longer allowed to provide for their players.
And we're well known for that. Our asterisk. I don't know specifically what I would have done. I would have looked to solidify that starting five in trades. Even if I would have quote lose the trade, just to make sure that my guys knew this is it. I'll talk to the rest of the guys if we're gonna need you. We'll establish that, and again, get that game plan going. Make sure that we know what we're doing and that the other guys know what they're doing, or know what you're doing, rather.
Definitely, that makes sense. So we'll jump ahead 2 more seasons. We're going to skip over season 13 here. We're going to go straight to this season. So not your favorite season, I'm sure. You found yourself as a backup on both teams you were on. So starting from the draft, you were on a team, Carolina specifically,
Yep.
with Sully, battling for a starting spot. He wound up winning that out over you. And then not too long into the season, I want to say it's only like 5 or 6 games in, I believe, you got traded to Vegas where you were stuck behind PK, another fantastic goalie in his own right. Do you believe you were given a fair shot to prove yourself as a starter over Sully and PK?
Sure. I mean, Sully put up an extremely dominant performance in the first couple games. I unfortunately couldn't show up to, I don't know whether it was one of the last preseason game or the first regular season game. But he definitely started the first regular season game, got a shutout, and just kept it going. Allowed 2 goals each of the next 2 games. You don't take a guy out when he's playing that well. I mean, if he maintained that, Carolina is top 2 seed going into the playoffs. Trades notwithstanding, and he wins best goalie hands down. I think he was certainly the best, at least performer in net at the beginning of the season. And then
Made a very strong start.
Oh, certainly. PK is really just a more consistent version of myself. I feel we have similar talent levels. I mean, I'll give him the edge because of consistency, but we both have the ability to kind of wow people sometimes, and at the same time, maybe a stinker gets past us. It's part of the game. It's part of being a goalie. But
Definitely play very consistent styles. That's something that a lot of people don't normally look at, right? Is different goalies have different styles. And I mean, it's kind of weird to think about because it's so hard to play goalie. And if you've never played a goalie before, you may not notice it that much. But yeah, every goalie tends to have a slightly different style. You get guys like Sammy that play from their backhand primarily, which is bizarre. Then you and PK play a very similar style. Then you get more recently, we have a lot more active goalies as well. And by active, I mean coming out to play the puck a lot. Meatsail's become one of those. Kiwi is big into that. Gabe, when he was playing that as well, same thing.
Yeah, and you can't knock PK in that either.
For sure, yeah. So, was there ever any like bad blood between you and PK or Sully? Was there ever any sort of animosity there? Maybe from your perspective towards them because you wanted that starting spot, or was it sort of just
Not
like
at all.
easy going the whole way?
Not one bit. I fully supported, Cap, the team, PK. I wanted us to succeed. After a certain point, I'll admit it, I didn't show up to games, with the intent of backing up and, kind of watching. But I hopefully made it known that I would be there if we needed me, and come our last game of the season, the postseason, I was there. I played. I did okay.
You were there in the elimination game, right?
Yeah, I love
Actually, you
playing in
made like
elimination
9
games.
saves or something like that against Calgary in the final game, and of course, as we know, that team
Yeah.
went on to win the
I
cup.
am known
So
for my volume stats.
that you are, my friend. Continuing to build on them.
Always.
So no bad relationship there, which is good. Good. Good guy,
No,
kBomb, not making a stink about it.
no, I think I broke a record. I think I'm the only goalie to have more losses than starts. But starts aren't an official kept stat, so too bad. I'm claiming it. 0 regular season starts and 1 loss. Boom.
Coming in relief for Sully, right? First
Yeah.
week of the season, I think it was.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate game. I think it may have led to me being traded.
Really, you believe that game was the reason why you got traded?
It didn't help.
Makes sense. So
Yeah.
coming into this season, which I know was something that you were considering not even playing, but coming into this upcoming season, you're probably going to be in a similar situation where you're going to have to potentially be fighting for your spot, right?
Sure.
Are you ready for that? Are you going to try to do something differently or maybe take a different approach to maybe sort of highlight your strengths more than whoever you're competing with?
I think I'm gonna play more during the off season, which is something that I really don't do or haven't done all that much. I usually just take it as a big break, and it is big. It's, up to like 2 or 3 months at times, depending on how early your team loses the playoffs.
Or doesn't make it?
Oh yeah,
Depending on the situation. But yeah, it can be a long off season. I know this one, I guess it starts today, right? We're
yep,
not going to be doing anything until after July 4th, so that's a good 3.5 weeks or so
yeah,
of us not doing anything. And then for teams that didn't make the playoffs too, you add another 2 weeks on top of that, and you're well over a month, getting close to a month and a half. And we've had longer off seasons too in the past as well.
yeah. Lucky that the RSL synced up a little bit better. I know there had been some times that we, kind of say waited, for the longer postseason to end,
Yeah,
to
it's
start the break.
tough for them being able to play 2 games a week
Sure, yeah.
as opposed to 3. So it really
Mm-hmm.
does make, especially when you get to the playoffs, right? Like a 7-game series, unless you're playing 3 games one day and 4 games the next, you're not really gonna be able to get through a 7-game series in a week. And then to
Nah.
consider like you're gonna have 2 of them going simultaneously for the semifinals, and in the past we've also had to have quarterfinals for the RSL too in situations where it's been expanded upon. So there's been issues in the past dealing with that for
Yeah.
sure. So definitely planning on practicing and playing more than over the
Yeah,
off
big
season.
comeback. Yep.
And I know GK was actually a big part of your decision to come back. Is that right?
Yeah, I love that guy, and he had some really really kind words. Said that there's a never say die sort of attitude, and that that's part of who I am. And as bummed out as I was to really not be playing the game, it's you got to pick yourself up.
And it'll be a good bounce back for you too. Perfect opportunity to demonstrate your ability and your skill as a goaltender. Definitely one of the better ones to ever play the game, and
Yeah.
great chance for you to be able to prove that now coming into the next season. Are you worried at all about sort of how the defenses looked? Because that's been a problem for the LHL. I mean, really the past couple of seasons feels like it's been getting worse and worse every season. But this season in particular, we were missing a lot of the experienced defensemen that we're used to seeing, and some of the ones that are still around maybe not playing as well as what we would normally expect from them. Does that concern you at all as a goalie that the general quality of defense seems to have dropped a bit?
Nah, I mean, you take what you can get, and I'm also surprised, all the time by, guys stepping up, coming into the league. They haven't been playing for 4 years, but, these are a whole bunch of, especially Dow fans, what was it,
NADT.
NADT?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, just really impressive to get at that level, in a hurry. So I think we'll be surprised, and plus, we're heading into an even numbered season, and those have been pretty kind to me. So,
Have all your cups come in even numbered seasons?
no, well, I mean, it was back to back, um,
Ah, yeah,
but
season 5,
my
season 6. Yep.
yeah, my big V trophies have come in even numbered seasons, uh,
Ooh.
4, 6, and 8, and then a whole bunch of really really good guys, and I don't think anybody's won it twice since.
Yeah, we seem to have different guys every season, although Kiwi is up for it this time around.
Oh yeah,
Probably a good
I
chance
didn't
that
even
he's going to
consider
win
that.
it 2
Yeah,
times in a row. He won it last season, and I guess he's the favorite for this season. So,
it's somebody's favorite. Yeah.
well, he's not my favorite goalie at all. That will belong to you, and I got to give it nod to GK there as well. Love
Oh
both of you.
shucks.
There's going to be guys like Narg are going to be upset with me for saying that.
Yeah.
Just to be
Well,
clear,
they can
Narg,
take
I'm
their
not
own
saying they're
interview.
better than you, but they
Just better
talk to me,
people.
so I don't know.
Oh,
So you're often considered one of the best teammates to play with, and that's not just me saying that. That's something that has been echoed by many people on your teams in all of the past 14 seasons. What makes you such an inspiring presence off the ice?
oh well, I'm not a shithead. And I really try to not be a shithead. But I mean, I think this is a big morale game. I think a lot of people, especially the talented guys, they tend to get in their own heads, and you just got to rein them back in. And so, the goal that we let up isn't going to be, the end of the world. There have been plenty of gigantic comebacks, including the recent JSL one, some sort of poke type thing.
It was like a 5-goal comeback or something like that in the
Yeah, I
third
mean,
period.
there have
Yeah.
been some big ones. So like, you just gotta keep your chin up, and that's been a big part of whether I'm GM, whether I'm the goalie, whether I'm in backup. You keep your guys positive, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but at the same time, it never hurts. And so that's just what I've kind of taken to heart is just you just keep everybody in their element as much as you can, and see what happens. Do some stuff.
You're very good at doing that for teammates around you. Do you ever have trouble keeping your own spirits high during a game?
Um, Rarely. I mean, it it's gonna be a bad game for me if I'm looking at chat. Um, because like it's all about the focus. And I don't really get down, but like, if I'm getting BM'd, and I'm noticing it, which is rare, but I'll kind of, take that to heart. Not that they think I'm a, poor player, because well, they're entitled to, but like,
They're wrong,
just
right?
who would say that during the game? What kind of turd would BM during a game? Everybody, truth be told. But yeah, that's the only time I really get in my own head.
So, was there ever a role model you looked up to as a player?
I just I wanted to play as well as Sammy. Cause he, like I'll still play lefty sometimes, just to like, how in the hell did he do it? Um, but I think it was GK that talked about his willingness, to put his home life kind of aside to play.
Yeah, we spoke about it in his interview. Sammy, season 2, played the finals for us in a lecture at school with a laptop.
Yeah, that's
He had his
absurd.
headset on and whatnot. He couldn't talk to us, but he had his headset on and his mic open, so we could hear him like breathing or getting exasperated when he'd make like a clutch save or there'd be a goal against or something like
Yeah.
that. It was really funny. But yeah, he showed up in the middle of class, whipped out his laptop, was playing the LHL finals. Good lecture.
Yeah. What a guy.
Definitely a dedicated guy. Definitely a good role model, not just as a goalie, but as a person. Sammy's a
Sure.
dude.
Yeah.
Still wish we had him back. And you got to win a cup with him too, right?
Yeah, that was fun. San Jose.
And going into that draft too, I mean that's the one that right the asterisk on it for the Lucid
Yeah.
steal, right? But that was the
Yep.
one going into it where Sammy hadn't yet switched to defense. That's something he did during the season 6 draft. He decided he was going to switch to defense. And I remember a lot of us were very surprised when he drafted you because he had always been a goalie. So
Yeah.
we're trying to think of, oh, who's this defenseman he's going to take, right? Like there's not that many good defensemen left. And then he's like, oh, I'm taking kBomb. It's like, wait a minute. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
So kBomb is you're taking your backup goalie or what are you doing? Like and lo and behold, he switched to defense and then I'm sure you can attest to it, he's pretty good at it.
Yeah. It worked.
He won back-to-back cups as a defenseman season 6 and 7, so it worked well.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about your role model, but who do you think was the best goalie to ever play the game?
Oh, this is a fun one. Sorry, Sammy.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go with an unpopular option. I'm gonna go with Morat, Mr. Morat
Mr.
himself.
Mulrat.
He's the first goalie that I've ever heard "I hate you" when they made a save, and he got a lot of it. I played on a good couple teams with him, but like people would get mad when he would make saves, and I really wanted to do that. I wanted people to hate me because I just absolutely stonewalled them. And I've gotten a little bit of it, but not quite as much. I don't know if his talents would translate, but I think if he gave it a shot, I think he'd probably
Cut
be an
out a
LHL
little bit there
starter.
at the very beginning. So just to clarify for those people who might have missed it, at least I heard you cut out. I don't know if it cut out on the recording or whatever, but just saying that Mulrat was one of the first goalies to ever really make you hate playing against him
Yeah.
because he
Yep.
was so frustrating to play against, right? And that's
Absolutely.
something that we look at. Somebody like Kiwi now is probably a good example of that, right? Somebody who just makes those ridiculous, frustrating
Sure.
saves, and you're
Yeah,
just
you
like,
just get upset.
yeah. And so you're saying that's the type of player that you think is top
Is
of
the
the game.
best.
Once you
Yes.
reach that point,
Yeah.
you are the best goalie.
Yeah. Once, people, stop dreading playing against you and just start getting angry at it, then that's when you've made it.
I guess ideally, right? They're just getting pissed off before they even get on the ice. They're like, I gotta fucking play Mulrat again.
Yeah. Yeah. Lucky
All
he's
in the
West
hole.
Coast. Yep.
He came back, I think, couple seasons ago, 5 seasons ago, 6 seasons ago. He played a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess not recently anymore. I was gonna
Nope.
say recently, but yeah, not recently anymore. So
Recently for us,
most
yeah.
people won't know him, but he was one of the goalies that was good in 4v4, which much harder to do. Obviously, 4v4 usually played with 2 forwards, 1 defenseman. At least that's how we did it in the LHL. And most of the time, forwards
Yeah.
weren't very good at rotating back to play defense either. So there were a lot of one-on-ones, a lot of breakaways. So goaltending much less forgiving, if you can believe that, back then. And I know some people who play JSL, I think right now, still does the flex 4v4 and 5v5. So some JSL
Mm-hmm.
goaltenders might, or those who have played in the JSL, might understand sort of the pain of that playing 4v4 goalie. A
Yeah,
lot
it's
of odd
different.
man situations to deal with and much harder. You really got to be good at those breakaways and odd man opportunities, and that's not an easy task, and definitely something that Mull excelled at.
Yep.
All right, so who was your favorite player to play with or to watch?
Um, Probably Crab. Uh, just kind of the quarterback
Is this to
of
watch or to play with?
both.
Okay.
Um, while goalies kind of tend to like the defenseman, um, it's just you kind of watch players while you play goalie because the puck's not always in your zone. You're repositioning yourself a couple inches to the side, if at all. So you get to kind of watch everything develop, and uh, Crab probably the best passer ever, or at
I'd agree
least
with that. Yep.
top number ever. So it's just and good enough to make you worry about him scoring as well. So just really exciting player to watch and play alongside. And I don't know why, but I always forget that he was on a couple of my teams earlier on. Nothing against
Well, the
him. It
big one
just
was season 6, San Jose, right? He was part of
oh,
that team.
you don't forget about that one. I unfortunately haven't given him his back for that one. And
I still have
as a
Lucci's black
curse
for
to
that.
me, he won yeah, I think he won like every cup since or something near that. So
He's won a lot.
I'll have to give him something more. Yeah.
And that was really
So
the season that kickstarted his career, actually, or kickstarted him being known as a top player in the game.
oh
First
sure.
5 seasons or so, I think some of them he didn't even play. He was always a good player, right? But it was never really known as the dominant force that he is now. I guess really Iskin was what Crab is now, known as like
Yeah.
that elite playmaker.
Yep.
Usually went for the pass before the shot and was deadly with it. Could drop in a pass wherever he wanted. He could thread it through 3 defensemen if he wanted to. And then he sort of stopped playing, and Crab definitely took up that role, and he's been incredible ever since.
Yeah, and it never hurts to cut your teeth on that team, that San Jose team.
A frustrating team to play against. You talk about frustrating goalies. That was a team where you're like, God damn it, we have to play this fucking team again.
Yeah.
That's what that was. So I have a feeling I'm gonna know the answer to this, but I'm hoping you surprise me with this. What was your favorite team that you've ever been a part of?
Yeah, I lived to surprise you. It was the Chicago team, with you.
Season 5?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna pick season 6.
Nah, not at all. I got ice level seats to the Dialomat experience, which I think is banned from the league now or something like that.
Yeah, we stopped doing player protections because of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's your other asterisk, but it it was also I mean, it was the last 4v4 season, but because of that as well as your combined ability as well as, I mean, we had a good not led, or was it
Dopey.
Dopey?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are great too. But like, you guys could outscore however many goals I would allow. Like, I mean, if you look at the finals, I mean, it was Stu that started, but it was like a 8-7 game or something like that.
Yeah, game 4 we swept the finals, and game 4 we won 9-8.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. So I mean, though you guys, whether by virtue of 4v4 or the fact that you were that good at offense, there were my opportunities to, put on the show as well. And that was just a whole lot of fun. Uh, it was a good team to be on.
Was there ever a player that you wish you had played with? You didn't get a chance to, or maybe you played with them for one season and you'd like to play with them again?
I don't even know anymore. I played so long.
You've played with most of the people, so I
Yeah,
figured this was a tough one to ask. I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to even ask it, but I figured I'd throw
and
it in there.
every team that trades me is like cursed to miss the playoffs or something like that. I forget, some kind of curse. And if you draft me, you're not the GM the next season. There's plenty of kBomb curses out there. I mean, I'd
Look
certainly
out,
like to
Gabe.
play with. What's that?
Said look out, Gabe.
Oh, well, yeah. Sorry, bud. Um, no, I mean, wherever I wind up, whoever I play with, it. I don't dislike people, and I think that's really one of the reasons I've become, if I can say, popular, or at least, a fan favorite. Is just, I kind of get along. So, I'll play with anybody.
All right, last big question here for you. What would you change about the game itself or the community?
Oh, that's a good one. Um, I don't know if I could change the community if I would. Yeah, I don't even have to answer that one. If I could, I would make sweeping changes to the server side of the game. So I would implement email logons, and then as such, we don't have to worry about aliasing because you've got an ID. Um, you can assign team flags. So let's say you're on Chicago, you get a Chicago flag. Then when the game goes to league time, you can set the game in league mode. You say Chicago is playing against Carolina, and then only players from those two teams and admins can get on. So that eliminates like a whole lot of the grief and the BS that goes on game day. And then what would be really cool, and it would probably require like a global login server. I mean, the emails would too, but like a sit and go or dynamic, being able to spin up a server on the fly. Say, hey, we need to practice. Boom, we need a new server instance. You get it, you lock it down to your guys, and you go. There you go.
Interesting. So you're the first one to come at it from sort of an external point
Yeah,
like that. We've had some people talk about sort of behavioral community changes. Some people
nah,
talk about things like icing and offsides or puck-body collision. Some
Nope.
people say they didn't want to change anything, and this is definitely a different side of it that we haven't heard so far from anybody.
Yeah, hockey 55 bomb.
Coming to a computer near you.
Yeah, in like 20 years or something, yeah.
You should pass up some of those ideas to Matt, who's, I understand it, right? As of the last interview, still working on his version of hockey. So
Sure, and I'm excited for it.
I think most of us are hopeful, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, we've
Hopeful.
gotten bamboozled before, or
Yeah.
at least raised our expectations too high, we'll say.
Yep. So, any plans for the future? I mean, we touched on it a little bit. You're going to practice more. Are you intending on coming back as a GM, just as a player?
I probably won't GM again anytime soon. But yeah, I mean, I want to practice up. I want to, I want to earn a starting role. Unfortunately, I'm starting school soon. I'm kind of an older guy, but I'm returning to it. So, between a full-time job and that, hockey's gonna be, my release, my off time. So hopefully I can, both enjoy it as well as, be able to devote some of my time to it.
What are you going to school for, if you don't mind me asking?
Accounting. Sorry to all the comp sci guys. I know
There's a lot
uh,
of us here. Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
you're
I'm a
disappointing me.
system administrator right now, but I love numbers and that sort of thing. So just even being able to uh, put spreadsheets together. Shout out Dyaloreax. That sort of
Spreadsheet and
thing.
everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, you've helped me a lot with that too. A lot of
I
just
I like
learning how things work. So
I like trash talking people about their spreadsheets. Was it
that's,
BG?
I'm gonna be as polite as possible with it, but that's when you know you're really a nerd when you
Yeah,
trash talk somebody about their
yeah.
spreadsheet. I do it too, so I can't even like throw you under the bus for this, but that's when you know that like, good Lord, find something else to do.
Yeah, do it for a career.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So no plan on coming back as GM. Would you ever consider running for BOC?
Um, Probably not. I
You don't
mean,
want to make
that's
HQM great again?
nah, that's kind of like a super GM. That's like the GM of the GMs. And I wouldn't make a good Batman. Um, I don't think. I mean, ultimately, I think those are the guys that want to push the direction of the league, and I'm, so laid back that I'm fine with wherever it goes as long as there's a place for me.
Yep.
In the most selfish way, obviously.
So any final shout outs, any other thoughts you want to throw in
Uh,
here before we close it off for the night?
Shout out to everybody, all of you. Thanks for fast forwarding to the end or listening to this. And you, thank you for running this. And a whole lot of the content, creation on the site, on the sub, depending on when it was, but we thank you. Thank you
You're welcome,
all.
buddy.
Yeah.
I'll speak for everybody else and say you're welcome as well. For the whole community, we
Yeah,
all welcome you, I guess. How do
glad
you
to be
say
here.
that in third person? How do I welcome you
Yeah,
from
I is
everybody?
welcome. Yeah, we're good.
I don't understand how that would work. I don't even know if you can
Something.
do that.
I
English
I
language is
feel it.
weird. All right, well, this has been a lot of fun. Very eye-opening for me as well. Did not know a lot of the things that I got to ask you. That's what I like the most about this, right? Is I get to
For
ask
sure.
you guys things that we don't normally talk about when we're just hanging out in TeamSpeak. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
not just fun for everybody else to get this insight. A lot of this I'm getting for the first time too.
And
Yeah,
if you're
thank you
getting
very
stuff
much.
out of me, I'm boring, so keep it
I
up.
mean, this was a pretty solid hour and 10 minutes of stuff, so I would be hard pressed to call it boring. I hope other people don't find it boring because this was very interesting for me, and I think there are going to be a lot of people that are excited to hear what you've got to say.
Great.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for joining me, and thank you everybody for listening. Have a great evening.
See ya.